From what we're told about our history, the Eastern world and the Western world hadn't had any connection until Columbus discovered the Western world. Supposedly, at least. I'm finna prove to you in this video that that's all a lie, and that the Eastern world and Western world had been connected long before Columbus was even born. Not only will I be showing the connections between the Eastern civilizations and the Western civilizations, but I will also be connecting two Eastern civilizations which still influence our world today. And these two civilizations, I'm sure a lot of people already know what they're gonna be. And I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be new information to some people, but still, a lot of people definitely do not know this information. Therefore, I'm trying to put it out to the forefront so we can all have right knowledge. First, I'll show you how the Eastern world and the Western world connect. Then, I'll show you how the two Eastern civilizations connect, which will in turn show you how they all connect with one another. Let's start off with this newspaper article from the early 1900s. It says, Sphinx found in Mexico. The Department of Education announced today Boy Scouts discovered a new archaeological zone in the wilds of Guerrero. Among the figures discovered is a large stone sphinx bearing a marked resemblance to that in Egypt. Government archaeologists are leaving forthwith to study the zone, which, according to preliminary reports, probably includes an entire buried city. A number of hills in the zone are believed to cover pyramids. On the summit of one of them is a huge globular stone covered with a kind of hieroglyphic. So as you can see, they found a sphinx and hieroglyphs. But the next book that I'm gonna go into, you're gonna see that this isn't the only set of hieroglyphs or only proof of Egyptians in the Americas that they found. The first book we looking into is Mysteries of Ancient South America by Harold T. Wilkins. Here, South America, one may recall that the Jew prophets Ezekiel and Isaiah located the ancient paradise and Garden of Eden in the north, but if the reader glances at a map, he will see that the north of Brazil corresponds to that very Amenti land of the dead, paradise of the ancient Egyptian and the Celt, under another name of Royal or High Atlantean Brazil, which the people of the pharaohs said lay to the west of the Nile. Amentet, or Amenti, was the Egyptian goddess and friend of the dead, and the personification of the land of the west, Amenti. It was she who welcomed the deceased to their new dwelling place in the netherworld. Also, to the Egyptians, Amenti was where the sun set. So this wasn't just another bordering country to the west. This was distant, far off the extreme west. Moreover, there was a man who was 12th king in the calendar of the Mayas, and whose country, Guatemala, was a Nile, who corresponds closely with the Mens of ancient Egypt, who built the temple of Memphis and turned the course of the Nile of Egypt. In a book titled Egyptian Visits to America, the author states that archaeologists found an artifact that resembled King Mene or King Men, however you pronounce his name. Brazil, the old and mysterious, seems to be the ancient land which was, perhaps, the cradle of the world's oldest civilization, maybe 60,000 years ago, and a day when our own European ancestors were living in caves in the then far warmer regions of what is now France, Spain, or Switzerland. And while Europeans were in caves, as he states, let's just say, for while they were in a Neanderthal state, we were civilized. Other inscribed stones, almost obliterated after thousands of years, have been found in these unknown jungles of Brazil, and purport that Phoenicians and their kinsmen, the Carthaginians, also wandered this way thousands of years ago, trading and hunting valuable mineral lodes. Before my reader scouts the idea of these revelations of antique civilizations in South America, he or she must remember that more than 2,000 photographs of these ancient petroglyphs have been made by fraught and native prehistorians in Brazilian wilds, and that the inscriptions range from hieroglyphic, demotic, or hieratic forms to cuneiform or Proto-Phoenician forms, such as have been found in cut caves in the Canary Islands, which is in Africa or near Africa. Fraught had been exploring these wild woods of Brazil since he was a youth. It was in the province of Amazonas that he came on an ancient carved rock hidden by dense jungle close to a river, which recorded the journey of a Proto-Egyptian priest to what is now Bolivia. I skipped ahead a little bit. It says, indeed, many of these ancient Brazilian Bolivian gold mines today are buried in the middle of ancient woods. Fraught says his inscriptions prove that the ancestors of the Egyptians, long before they passed to Africa and the Nile, had established an ancient South American empire ranging from what is now Bolivia to Bahia. So, while the treasure hunter is deeply engaged in trailing down caches of Proto-Egyptian gold bars and ingots in South America's jungles and foothills, he may, by chance, blunder on some enigmatical obelisk of unknown age, carved with hieroglyphs and covered with multicolored drawings and imperishable pigments. Now this next piece of evidence that I'm about to show will connect the Western world with the Eastern world, but it also will show the connection between two Eastern civilizations. As you can tell, this is from an old newspaper article. It says mummies in Tennessee. Two prominent citizens of Loudoun County, Tennessee, while hunting in the mountains, discovered a cave containing well-preserved mummies, similar in every respect to those of Egypt, and a large trunk or case bound with brass, sealed in several places. Upon being opened, it was found to contain several leather cases, also sealed. The largest was opened, and a roll of parchment found covered with Hebrew characters. Now, take note who these Hebrew characters were written by. Reverend Dr. Tucker, pastor of the Presbyterian Church, translated one of the manuscripts and finds it to have been written by Menkara, high priest of the land of Kim. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, why would Egyptians be using Hebrew? Why not just use hieroglyphics or even the Demotic or hieratic form of, their own language? Seeing how Proto-Sinaitic, which is the parent language to Hebrew and Phoenician, was created in Egypt based off of Egyptian hieroglyphics, it's safe to say that Hebrew itself is an Egyptian language. Now ask yourself, why do so many biblical characters have so much Egyptian iconography in their stills or bullahs? As you can see here, we have the seal of Manasseh, and at the top is the winged scarab. And in Egypt, the winged scarab was usually a representation for the god Khepri, who was the god of creation. This is the seal of King Hezekiah. His has a winged scarab on it too, but his also has an ankh on it, which we all know is an Egyptian symbol. The royal seal of King Hezekiah in the Bible was found in an archaeological excavation. The stamped clay seal, also known as a bulla, was discovered in the Ophel excavations led by Dr. Elot Mazar at the foot of the southern wall of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The bulla, which measures just over a centimeter in diameter, bears a seal impression depicting a two-winged sun disk flanked by ankh symbols and containing a Hebrew inscription that reads, belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah. Now, what would the king of Judah be doing with the winged sun disk and an ankh? The name of the northern kingdom of Israel's last king has turned up on a beautiful seal from the 8th century BCE. Although the seal did not belong to the king himself, it was the property of one of his high-ranking ministers. And as you can see at the bottom, there's the winged sun disk. And not only that, but the character himself looks Egyptian. The king is Hoshea, the same name as that of the prophet Hosea, but referring to a different person. Hoshea ruled Israel from 732 or 731 BCE to 722 BCE, just before it was destroyed by Assyrian conquest. The minister's name inscribed on the seal is Abdi, or to use his full name in English, Obadiah. Again, the name of a prophet, but a different person. Now let's talk about Father Crespi. Father Carlos Crespi Crocci was a Salesian monk who was born in Italy in 1891. He studied anthropology at the University of Milan before becoming a priest. In 1923, he was assigned to the small Andean city of Cuenca in Ecuador to work among the indigenous people. It was here that he devoted 59 years of his life to charitable work until his death in 1982. Father Crespi is known for his multitude of talents. He was an educator, anthropologist, botanist, artist, explorer, cinematographer, and musician. While thousands of Crespi artifacts are unremarkable in that they can be clearly classified according to their age and the indigenous culture they belong to, there remained a small subset of items that sparked intense controversy. Some of the artifacts are Babylonian in style. Others appear to have been carved in gold with strange motifs and symbols that do not resemble objects from any South American culture. Some of the gold plates appear to show a type of ancient writing, although as far as we are aware, none of them were identified and translated. Richard Wingate, a Florida-based explorer and writer, visited Father Crespi during the mid to late 1970s and photographed the extensive artifact collection. He said, "In a dusty, cramped shed on the side porch of the Church of Maria Auxiliadora in Cuenca, Ecuador, lies the most valuable archaeological treasure on Earth. More than $1 million worth of dazzling gold is cached here, and much silver. Yet the hard money value of this forgotten hoard is not its principal worth. There are ancient artifacts identified as Assyrian, Egyptian, Chinese, and African." And we finna prove what I just read to be correct with this book from 1836. If the American nation sprung from ancient colonies, it is among the primitive population of the earth that their parents must be sought and found, since America appears to have been partly people even before the flood. Therefore, the systems which derived them all from the Phoenicians, Jews, Chinese, Tartars of later ages, or any single people whatever, must be absurd and improbable, since traces of many ancient nations are found in this Western Hemisphere. So the author is telling you that it's impossible for the American nations to have descended from any of those nations, because traces of those nations are found here